Heroes and heroines of all ages. When the world tells you to get a life, you're always welcome at the One Up Block. My name is Dan the Man, your host, and welcome back to another episode, or a brand new episode of Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, you may be asking yourself, wait a minute, Dan, I thought you played through Sonic the Hedgehog already. And you are correct, and this clearly does not look like Sonic the Hedgehog, at least as we've played it. And you're also correct again. This is Sonic the Hedgehog for the Master System. It was also released for the Game Gear as well. So you have two options for playing this game, but if I had to recommend one, it would definitely be this version, the Master System version. For multiple reasons, but the biggest reason being that the screen crunch in the Game Gear version is really bad. Like, imagine the screen right here, except zoom it in about 2 times, and that's about what you get, and it's pretty bad. It makes seeing enemies coming a lot worse, and generally it's just not very comfortable to play through. But yeah, without further ado, let's head through this after a minute of sitting here explaining the game. So, this game came out, I'm pretty sure, around the same time as, if a little bit after Sonic 1, and I don't know exactly why they would do it, but I guess they wanted to show the Master System some love for Sonic as well. Because I think the Game Gear version came out after the Master System version, because there are improvements made to the Game Gear version, so, you know, do with that what you will. If you actually roll down that hill holding right, Sonic will actually zip all the way to the end of the level, which, if I can get 50 rings real quick, I will come back and show that off, because we need 50 rings to show off something that I'm probably going to try and avoid doing for the rest of the Let's Play. But with this, if we roll down this hill and I hold right, Sonic will outrun the screen, and he will then zoom all the way through all the obstacles and be at the end. Viola! So having 50 rings will allow us to go into the special stages, as very similar to Sonic 1. And this is Green Hill Zone. A couple of things are taken from Sonic 1 and put into this game, but they have their own spin to it, kind of. It's not really that intrusive. You're playing an entirely different game. Here are the bonus stages. For the special stages, we do not collect Chaos Emeralds in here. The reason why you want to go to a special stage is you want to collect continues. That's the only reason you would come in here. As you can also see, it's very easy to collect rings for an extra life if you're diligent about collecting them. You'll end up with maybe a life and a continue, which, if you're not familiar, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, but I'll say it anyway, a continue is like 3 extra lives, because you come back, you get to start the game over after getting a game over with 3 full lives, so you can look at a continue as 3 extra lives. And if you're playing a stage normally, if you end up getting 100 rings, you will get an extra life. But unlike other Sonic games, this game does not count your total rings. Like, it won't continue counting after 100. Once you hit 100, it's like Mario, where it'll go back to 0 and you'll get a free life. So it's actually probably better if you just get 50 rings and go collect the continue from the special stage. But to be perfectly honest, you probably won't need... Well, maybe if it's your first time playing, you'll need the extra lives to get through the game, but if you're pretty competent at playing Sonic the Hedgehog, this game is not that difficult. And to get into that, this game doesn't... It plays like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, clearly you can see I run, I jump, I hop on badniks, they're springs. This here is a checkpoint. If you die, you'll start off at where that monitor was destroyed. There's badniks, you can hop, there's springs, there's rings. There's even Chaos Emeralds, which, funny enough, they are not found in special stages, as you just saw. To get Chaos Emeralds, you actually have to kind of make your way through the stage and find them. They're hidden in the actual stages, which I believe the one we're looking for is... I think I passed it up, it was down here. You fall down this hole and... bada boom, Chaos Emerald! You get a little jingle signifying that you got it, but yeah, that's totally different for this game, where you find Chaos Emeralds in the actual level as opposed to a special stage, which is perfectly fine. We're going to be collecting all the Chaos Emeralds as we play, because there's only a special ending. There is no bad ending, weirdly enough. The game just kind of ends, I believe, after you beat the game without the Chaos Emeralds. but you do get a slightly different ending if you collect all the Chaos Emeralds, and it's really stupid. Like, the only reason you want to collect Chaos Emeralds in this game, specifically, is for score, and I'm not kidding you. You get, like, a bonus score to the game for completing it with all of the Chaos Emeralds intact. So, I mean, if you care about that, you know, whoopee for you, but I'm gonna be going for them because they're pretty easy to come by. I'm gonna go to another special stage, even though I really do not need to. Also, this game is incredibly short, so we don't expect to be spending too much time with this. Ah, I got some water here. Lovely, lovely water. And I don't know if I'm gonna actually try to do this special stage to collect the... I'm not gonna do it for a life anymore, I'm just gonna go for the continue and let that be that. Oh, goodness. And this is where these become kind of irritating. There we go. There's the continue. Can Dan hop into it and get it? Badoink. Thank you. Give me that continue, sir. That would be mine. And then there's also a life in this particular... In the second special stage, there is a life that sits here. So you can also get one... Sometimes there's life scattered throughout the special stages, which is helpful. But again, I do not need extra lives for this game. It is too easy. Being as good of a player of Sonic as I am, being familiar with the Sonic formula as I am, this game is far too easy for me to only die to probably, like, those deaths that you can't really see coming, you just accidentally kill yourself, you know? I'm still prone to doing that. But, going back into the gameplay, if I could compare this to anything... Oh, also, like Sonic the Hedgehog 1, there's also a third act where you fight Eggman, and it's less of a level and more of a platform, like a small platforming segment leading up to Eggman. But this game plays more like a Mario game, if I can be a little strange here for a second. Sonic's momentum is not nearly as fast as it is in the Genesis games, and the platforming feels a little tighter, where the platforming feels more like the point of the game. I guess I should probably talk about this boss fight even though there's nothing to it. Eggman will fly across the screen a couple of times until he gets close to the ground, at which point he will then jet across, and he will repeat this process. This boss is stupid easy, and if you're playing the Game Gear version, it's actually much easier because the screen crunch actually makes Dr. Eggman pathetically easy to reach up and hit, because as you can see, he is like a height higher than Sonic normally here. But in the Game Gear version, he is like at the same height as Sonic's jump, so you can literally kill him before he has a chance to even try and hit you. It's ridiculous. But we have another little capsule thing here with animals inside. Very, very familiar. And we get the points screen afterwards, which you can press the jump button to skip them, which I probably will be doing because they take a little bit. But this here is Bridge Zone. This place is entirely unique to Sonic the Hedgehog 8-bit, which is what I'm going to be calling it. It's not very different from Green Hill, to be perfectly honest with you, but it doesn't have to be. It does its job, and a lot of people seem to like this song, which I agree. Bridge Zone is pretty good. This whole game is harmless, if I could put it any other way. Like, you could play this game and have a pretty good time, and it doesn't last long enough to wear on you with how easy it is. Like, you can sit down and play, like, if you're a curious Sonic fan, like, you're going back to play all the other Sonic games that you never played, for whatever reason. Like, you got into the fandom with the 3D game and you're curious as to how the 2D games played, and you've played Sonic 1 and 2 and 3. Maybe you want to go back and try this game, and it's pretty harmless. You get what you pay for. It's a platformer. A pretty good one at that. As you can see, I just got an extra life. They are pretty easy to come by. And if we pan down here, that looks like a Chaos Emerald. How do we get that? Well, as you saw earlier, these parts of the bridges fall down. You use it as a platform to fall, and bada boom, you got what you needed. I'm gonna try and get 100 rings here, because I really don't want to go to a special stage. Aside from getting a special stage, if Sonic makes it to the end of an act without enough rings to get a special stage, it is entirely possible for him to get a Sonic signpost, which I believe gives you a 1-up or a continue. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but yeah, another special stage, another dollar, am I right? Give me that continue, boy. Boink. There we go. We have like 3 continues at this point, and I think I also got another life because of the points that I accumulated. So not only can you get lives in the monitors like typical Sonic fare, you can also collect 100 rings to get an extra life, and you can also do the points system where the points will eventually give you an extra life as well. And if the signpost that gives you Sonic's head also gives you a life, that is a lot of chances to get a life, and I just like jerked off the 1-up block a crap ton in that sentence, so you know how we do here. But that's 2 Chaos Emeralds, and yeah. So there's not any particular zone where a Chaos Emerald will pop up. That changes in the next game, but for this game, a Chaos Emerald can be either in the first or second zone, and they're always in a specific place, so you can't miss them. So Bridge Zone Act 1 had its Chaos Emerald, and Green Hill Act 2 had its Chaos Emerald. Also, we're doing a side-scrolling level in a Sonic the Hedgehog game. Does that bother anybody else? This feels a little out of place, but it also hammers home that feeling like a Mario game. But yeah, it's not terrible. Because the game plays more like a Mario game, it actually makes the fact that this is a side-scrolling level not that bad. You have pretty good controls. I feel like when I move Sonic, he's going exactly where I want him to go. And that means the controls are really smooth and really good. And that's all you can ever really ask for in a platformer, is for the controls to not suck asshole. So, good on you, Sonic Genesis, or Sonic 8-bit. Thanks for not sucking dick, I guess. Something that bothers me about this, though, is, Sonic's colors are really washed out for some reason. Like, as you can see, his blue is not very, vibrant. His, muzzle and his chest patch are not very bright. I'm fine with losing rings, by the way. I don't want to do another special stage. And his shoes are not bright red. They're like this weird flesh color. It's kind of distracting, to be perfectly honest with you, but that's okay. Oh, I almost slipped to my death. I think there's a life on one of these. I know there's a life during this side-scrolling section somewhere in the water where you can't see it. I'm gonna try and remember where it is, but I have not the slightest clue. Sonic can also not spin dash still. This is Sonic the Hedgehog 1, and to be perfectly honest with you, in the next game, I think I've said perfectly honest way too much. Is this the end of the level? It is. I missed the life. None of the Master System Sonic games let you spin dash. As far as I know. Maybe the third one lets you spin dash, but I haven't gotten around to practicing that one yet, so I can't tell you right off the top of my head. But we are at another Eggman level, which is, swell. This one is, no, this one's easy. Okay, so for this guy, you just hop on his head, and what he does is, he will try to shoot at you in whatever direction you're supposed to be at. So, like, he'll shoot the balls out and try to hit you, and he can't because you're hopping on top of his head. So jump as high as you can and land on him so you get big bounces. And try not to fall in the water like I did. I didn't expect him to die there. He takes 8 hits, so you can count them off, but I'm doing a live Let's Play and I'm trying to talk at the same time, so I missed my opportunity. But 1, 2, 3. You want to make sure you're not on top of him when he goes under the water. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 2 more hits. When he goes under the water, he probably stops being an obstacle, and therefore you'll fall to your death and hit the death plane below. So be careful. But again, he's stupid easy. The only thing that can kill you in that part is if you're taking it too slow and you're trying to avoid the shots for whatever reason, or if you hit the death plane from being too ballsy and trying to hit him too many times. Bada boom! Nobody cares about score. And here's another unique level to Sonic the Hedgehog 8-bit, is the jungle. And I really like this track. It's really upbeat and fun. But I do like this level too as well. It's got a lot of good platforming in it, and it deals with a lot of platforming, actually, even though I just said that. you'll see it coming up, but you're mostly jumping on a bunch of logs as they go like down a waterfall, which is pretty cool. That's nice. If this was if this was a Sonic game based around speed, that would be kind of weird, I guess. It would still probably work, but because this game is so slow and plays more like Mario, it kind of feels right that you're platforming like this. Like, this looks very similar to Mario Brothers 2, if you've ever played that game. Doki Doki Panic, Mario Brothers 2 USA, the version we got over here, because they thought that the Lost Levels was too hard, and they were probably fucking right. Thank God we didn't get that when we did. Americans would have hated Mario. Or we would have grown up having more hair on our chest. Either way you look at it. But yes, we are hopping across logs as they come down waterfalls, and it's more of a platformer game than it is about speed. There are times where Sonic can get a crap ton of speed like normal. You saw at the very first level, we spun down a hill and outran the stage. Like, we ran past spikes and shit that we probably should have hit, and that was pretty sweet. There are times where you can go fast in Sonic the Hedgehog 8-bit, but mostly you're playing this game for a quaint platformer game. Oh, right there, I should have spun. There we go. I overshot it. I probably shouldn't be collecting these rings. As I've stated before, I don't want to go to a special stage because they take up time. So let's try and get ourselves a life. Ooh, shit. Okay, so for these, with these little logs, you want to be very, very careful. Sonic still holds the momentum of his running animation while he's on the log as you jump. So, like, if you're running on the log and then jump, Sonic will jump forward, like he'll fly forward as if you're doing like a run jump like that. So, you know, you gotta be careful about that. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I think I may have missed a Chaos Emerald, and if that's the case, that's not a very good. I may have to go back and show off where that is. Did I miss it? Is this... Come on, Dan. Tell me you didn't miss out the... I missed the Chaos Emerald! Okay, so I'm gonna go back to that stage, and I'll be right back. Alright, sorry to make you guys watch this entire level over again so you can see the Chaos Emerald, but I'm gonna try and go a little bit faster this time. I can't believe I actually missed it, but that's the problem with doing live Let's Plays, is that you're bound to miss something if you're not careful or paying attention, and I unfortunately was trying to talk to you guys and explain stuff and commentate that I ended up forgetting exactly where I was going. But them's the breaks when you're doing a live Let's Play, right? Nothing I can really do about it. But what you're going to be looking for is actually a place where you can duck down and fall. That's kind of vague, I understand. Oh, I'm going to kill myself. Yep, there it is. I kind of misjudged that jump a little bit, but that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes those little deaths creep up on you. When you think you're too hot, too cool for school, you just overshoot stuff and kill yourself. It happens. It happens a lot, and it happened again. I did it again. Wow. Okay. Alright, I understand, game. I see where you're coming from. I'm trying to be professional and show off where a Chaos Emerald is, but you clearly have this other game you're trying to play. And I get it. It's understandable. Like, look, you're talking to the king of, fuck off. Fuck you, basically, is what this joke is leading up to. But what we're looking for, I believe, is pretty close to this section right here. Yeah. Okay, so if you get to this part right here, if you look down, there's a platform down there, and as you probably would expect, you have to ride this here log a little further down, because that ledge right there will actually, you will hit it and miss it completely. Thank you, Sonic the Hedgehog 8-bit. I guess this is where my lives are going, huh? I'm gonna be trying to collect this Chaos Emerald. You know, if you ask me if this is what I was gonna be doing when I did this Let's Play, I would have told you no. This Chaos Emerald is not usually this difficult to get. I can usually grab it on my first try. But, you know, Let's Play curse, whenever you're recording yourself, you're usually much worse, or bad things happen to you that you otherwise didn't expect would or could happen. So, you know, that does blow, but we'll wait for this log to go down a little lower this time, so my jump will pretty much land me in there. And if you look down there, you'll see there's a log we're gonna just ride it all the way across. And bada boom, we got ourselves a Chaos Emerald. Be careful, I'm not sure if you can overshoot the log and fall out, but you know, you don't really want to do that. And instead of having to ride the log back up, you just do a full jump and bada boom, there we go. But we did this level already, so I'm just going to end it here and we'll start on the next level because that's all the time we have for this one. A hero's work is never done. Join me again next time as we continue to tackle Sonic the Hedgehog 8-bit. Later days, everybody.